I'm now going to start making the assembly top down. And I want to state I could have done all of these parts as top down as well. I just chose not to for this particular exercise. So what does top down mean? Well, it means the parts are created in the context of the assembly. And as they're done so, they're going to have this little arrow just like this mirrored part does because it was created in the context of this part. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to the assembly ribbon, select the drop down arrow below insert components, and I'm going to tell it to insert a new part. It's going to ask what units. Well, I'm working in inch, so I'll accept that. And you'll notice my mouse has a green check mark beside it. I'm going to click OK to accept that. And now I've created a new part. It's fixed and it's called part 4 as part of my assembly. First thing I'll do is I'm going to rename that. To rename this part, I'm going to right click on it in the feature tree and select rename part. And I'll name this part 10004. And before I do anything to the part, I'm going to save my work. When you save your work, if a window such as this one pops up asking if you wish to save the part internally or externally, specify the external and say OK, and save the part where you've saved the rest of your parts. This will allow you to make a drawing of the part later. This new part I've created is just a blank part. If I open it, all we see is the blank part. I'll Control Tab back to the assembly, and now I'll create my part. This part I'm going to select, tell it to edit the part, and it's going to be a soft jaw insert to go on top of this jaw. So I'm going to create it on this face. I'll select this face, and on that face I'm going to sketch. So I'll right click on the face and I'll choose sketch. Then I'll click in white space, and to start my sketch I'm going to convert the edges. So I'm going to convert this edge and say OK. When I converted this, the sketch is fully defined. I didn't turn on the no external references option, meaning this line is anchored to this part edge and will stay there. Because this is a converted entity, recall I can grab the endpoints and I can drag them from the corner and they're no longer fully defined. So I'll drag these up and then I'll finish my sketch. To finish the sketch, I'm going to activate line using mouse gesture, and I'm just going to close it off into a simple rectangle. I'll push escape to stop creating lines. And now I'll fully define this sketch with dimensions. So again, I'll use mouse gestures to activate dimension. I'll make this side of my jaw 2 3/4 inches. And I'll dimension this jaw up from this part edge 25 thou. Push escape to leave dimension mode, and I'll come back and I'll select this line and I'll make it horizontal, and I now have a fully defined sketch. I'll exit the sketch and I'll extrude this feature 1/2 inch. I'll go back to the tree, I'll expand my feature. It's all in blue because I'm editing it in context of the assembly. The sketch is highlighted. Go to the features tab and I'll tell it I want to make this an extrusion. And the distance is 0.5. I'll accept that. At this point, I'll stop editing the part. And again, I'll save my work.